So why did you choose case status?
Yeah, we probably have different reasons. For me, it was the fact that a client could use case status for all their cases in one point. It's kind of counter to what you believe, but it wasn't a Pond Lehocky app. And that had, again, counterintuitive, but had a lot of value to me. Because think of the nature of our business is we represent people for disability, but we refer them to a lot of other law firms. And I'm looking, at client portals and weighing it against building our own. And I see on your website that 10 of my referral partners are already using this, which means most likely those same clients are being represented by us in disability. If they're using it with that firm, why would they not use it with our firm? That makes sense, right? At its core, being able to interact with all your law firms in one spot is exactly what we need. 2, I think it seamlessly integrates with our Litify instance. It goes right into Salesforce. It allows our staff to handle less phone calls, but more importantly, less emails. Because again, we want the communication to happen, so I'm never going to shy away from a phone call, even if it happens. But to get an email in an inbox that doesn't directly post into the exact matter is time, right?
Yeah.
So it reduced the amount of emails that we've got by over 90%. And that seems like a lot, but it's even more when you factor in that they're not copying and pasting an email, making that a note anymore, and looking up that client. Which John Smith is it? The time savings there was tremendous. And the third pillar of that is the marketing efforts that came out of it. And we probably even underestimated how important or how big of a piece case status was going to be for our website. We do substantial pay-per-click marketing. I mean, tons of it. But the best case you can get online is organic. But you bring all these SEO experts in and they say, oh, the algorithm is this month, and this is important, and you need to have meta tags on your website. Well, what we found is most important is client reviews, because you can use them for Google reviews. You can chop them up as videos and testimonials. And when we found out that, you're going to ask somebody every month how their case is going and whether we would or they would recommend us to another person, and we could say a 9 out of 10, we must be doing something pretty good. Those are the people you want to ask for reviews, and that's skyrocketed. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, it allows us to sit back and say, well, how are we doing with our client base?
Yep.
And we quickly found out that 75% of our disability clients think we're doing a 9 or a 10, and that was actually surprising to us.
Right.
You think you're doing well, but you have no way to measure it. How do you know? Yeah. And if you ask somebody at the time of the case settles, well, they're probably happy, right? You're not asking the people that lost how their case went. When you're getting Google reviews, it's on winners normally. So now having that journey process has been extremely important for us.
Yeah. I was not planning on saying this, and you didn't ask me to say this, but as Shawn's talking, and I'm thinking about case status, I can honestly tell you that of all the applications and all the different instances of technology that Pond Lehocky has brought in, there has never, ever been a more seamless and smooth transition than case status. I mean, it was implemented rather quickly, and as soon as and that for us is, in the past we've had things for 3 years being implemented, and in a snap of a finger, we were seeing results and changes in all of the things that Shawn said. For me, it was the fact that I'm always hard. I think I'm always harder on the business and on the client service aspect than maybe I should be. And to see that a lot of our clients were actually satisfied, and with our Net Promoter Score, which I never even heard that before case status came along. The Google reviews, as you touched on. I mean, I spent a lot of time prior to case status coming on board trying to figure out the best time to ask a client for a review. Because I think there's a little bit of an art to it, right? Yeah. You don't want to ask too soon. You don't want to wait too long after a positive result. I thought I figured it out. My results weren't that great. You guys come along, and next thing I know, I'm up 800% in my Google reviews, and they're positive. So, it's these types of things that makes it very easy for me to sit here and just tell you did a hell of a job with that product, and we're really happy we're using it.
I appreciate it. Well, we're happy you guys are on it too. I think client service can be a black box for so many industries, and when the fear of what's in the box, that can be a really, a detractor from doing something about it, right? Law firms sometimes are afraid to ask for feedback. And I mean, it's a core tenet of ours to require that feedback score because we think it's extremely important. And we think that, my personal opinion, and I'll go on record saying this, is that it should be a requirement of your ethical duty of care to consistently ask clients how their experience is going in a way that they feel like they can be honest in the delivery of that feedback.
Well, how do you make positive changes in your business if you don't have that client feedback, right?
Right. And wouldn't you rather know at the beginning rather than the end? That's what so many people...
Or how about during the entire process, which is another great thing you guys are doing.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing you're doing that you don't even realize you're doing is creating a common nomenclature for the client amongst multiple law firms. And what we have a ton of acronyms, and it's Pond Lehocky speak, right? And then you go to another firm and it's all their speak. And if you have multiple cases, how the hell do you keep it all straight? What you guys have done in your portal and with your systems has made a level playing field for everyone that uses it, right? Common nomenclatures. You guys have understood stages and the to-do list and the checklist that clients need to do to help their case. Medical updates. You're standardizing this industry from a nomenclature standpoint, and I think that has been needed more than anything. And no one else that I've seen technology-wise has done that or even tried to accomplish that. I don't know if that was a mission of your guys, but that is a result that's coming out of your product that I think might be the most important thing happening in the legal space right now.
I'd say, not intentionally. Our root core of case status was the belief that if you provide value about what's going on in a case for the client, then they will not only come back, but it will become key to their experience throughout the case, right? Why do we have Amazon on our phone? Because we want access to it. It has what we need. It has what we want to go to. Why do we have our banks? Same thing. We have access to our bank accounts and ownership over the process. And I think that was the core that we built on. Well, what we found somewhat unintentionally was law firms, they said, well, give us the starting point, give us the nomenclature, give us the stages, give us the descriptions, the process that other people are using. Because, and this is what I really appreciated was some of them would say, because I don't know if our process is right. Well, now we've worked with so many firms, a lot that have created their own spin, that have even said, please use ours, share ours. It's not a secret. In fact, it's we've talked. It's beneficial if we're all following the same process, because now if law firms if clients start understanding that law firms are giving this, doing the same things, the same service, well then what are they doing to go above and beyond that, right? It's the Southwest of 10 years ago. Why did Southwest stand out for their client service? Well, now this gives you the opportunity to stand out rather than just have the biggest head on the biggest billboard.
Right? That's right.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if I can share this yet, but the future pipeline that you guys are looking at and keeping a client forever, and really. When your case is over, it doesn't mean your relationship has to be over with that law firm or that client. And I think too many times in our industry, lawyers look at a client as a single event client. And think of all the dollars you're spending in marketing. You've acquired somebody. Why not keep them active? And, for them, their family members, something's going to happen in the future again. So your platform, and if you knew how much we spend on email marketing tools and things like that, my invoice might change.
You told me a little bit.
So that's an exciting. It's not just what you've created. It's you're continuing to innovate with your products. You're looking at how can I be an asset to a law firm and bring value as a business partner. And so when you're buying case status, or bringing your portal into our world, it's bringing that innovative relationship too that has been very valuable for us. Like I said, we were in this world. We had a client portal 10 years ago that had pretty decent success, but it wasn't a platform. It wasn't a communication platform that you guys have created. It was something that, had a messaging feature built in. Well, now it's our operating system for our clients to interact with us. And just the same way that we have Litify as our operating system internally, case status has now become our operating system externally for our clients. And the wealth of innovation and knowledge that's brought has been invaluable.
I mean, we really see a long-term vision of being really, we in software we have client success tools. They're tools that help from a business to business standpoint provide a great experience. Well, there really aren't a lot of tools designed for giving consumers, the end client, a great experience. And so we see this opportunity where there's a need in the legal industry that we know very intimately and we want to be part of solving. Well, you hit on it. What other things can we solve? And I think as lawyers are very solutions minded. That's what they're hired to do, right? It's not, hey, I got hit, I got injured in the slip and fall. And the law firm says, yep, that's a problem. Identified it. No, it's the solution. Hey, well, here's what we're going to do about it. Well, our job is to identify the problems that we can help, further solve for law firms and work with the law firm to identify creative ways to solve it. And I think a lot of platforms historically have said, oh, well, it's important. Listen to the customers that you have and build from that. Well, we want to take extra time to dive in there. I mean, this idea of marketing, we've talked about it in the past, but you've helped connect the dots in the way that, it's one thing to do mass marketing, but if the pain is, well, we're getting a low open rate, we're not reaching our clients, well, that is actually something we can help with. Okay, well, let's build on that. Let's find opportunity. Tom, what were you going to say?
Well, I think, and we've gone a little past this point, but I think it's important to bring it back there. One of your, whether it's intended or unintended consequences of case status, it's not just delivering information to a client in a much more efficient, effective way. What you've also done is you've taken a lot of stress off of staff members in a law firm. And for our staff, I think the one part of burnout is the constant on the phone, off the phone, on the phone, on the phone, typing the note in. There's that causes burnout in our office. I'm sure it causes burnout in offices throughout the country. And by eliminating a lot of that communication, I think what you're doing is you're probably saving some law firms you're making them keep their staff members longer. But I also think what you're also doing is allowing those staff members to do more specific tasks that are going to get the case to the goal line. And they can maybe work on more paralegal duties than necessarily be on the phone with a client giving a status update, which is something you provide pretty easily. So I think from a business perspective, you could possibly either get more out of your staff or not have to necessarily add, like we did in the beginning, continue to add staff, and sometimes that can get you down a tough road. So
yeah, when we talk to new potential customers, sometimes they say, well, how am I going to get my staff to use this? And we try and we do the best we can, but we're still building trust to say there's actually a really special unintended consequence that happens with retention. And you guys already hit on it. Yeah. It's a surprising confirmation that your clients are actually happier than you thought. Yeah. And the ones that you weren't sure about, sometimes they confirm that. Sometimes they say they're happier. Sometimes it's a call out of, I need to do something about this, or my staff, and being able to build automation and process around just that scoring. Just the peace of mind that can give staff, and I think we've all worked with the bad actors, right? The ones who want to sit back, do the minimum amount of work, and no one's trying to get that person fired. I'm going to throw them under the bus, right? Well, this provides a real level of accountability where when you're aggregating the scores across the cases, and it highlights that individual is not getting back to clients. Yeah. There's a slow response time, there's a slow client satisfaction score. Let's find out what's going on there, and it can really then highlight the staff members who really do care. And I've said it before, I continue to, anytime we bring on new staff members and they say, well, what is it like to sell to your client base? We say, well, the real daily heavy users of case status are the office staff, the ones that are communicating with clients. And a lot of times they're mission driven. And nurses, teachers, they really care about the injured party, and they want to help them or the matter that they're going through. Well, unfortunately, what we know about that persona is a lot of times they get taken advantage of in different industries. And so if we can give the tools to our staff, and I try and live by that in our company. I want to give my staff the tools that they need to effectively do their job, to be confident in it, to have a feedback loop that's exciting and feeling like they're doing their part and they're contributing, they're providing for their family.